what God says and introduce his son into this world. He came and died, was crucified, was buried, was resurrected. But it's inclusive of the Ten Commandments. And so when we talk about Christian principle and value and the rule of law, any laws that is debated in this country, Steve, should be based on Christian principle. Any law that is the terrorists that is inside now, Parliament, debating these bills. All of these bills should be based on Christian principle, but none of them is based on Christian principle. None of them. Because when we look at what Christian principle is, and when we look at how God has set up his church, how he set up the family structure, that man represents two things, Steve. Two things man represents. One, authority. And you know, and the other one, it represents God. But you know what? I asked the question, why are they seeking for woman for gender equality? Now, in answer what they're saying, equal quality. That's what they're talking about. Equal quality. But women have equal quality. But what they seek to do, they don't want, as God has set up his structure of the family, with the authority man built in. We were man were built in with built-in authority in them.
Amen.
You cannot take that from a man. And so when you come against that authority in a man, that's why we got to be very careful as men how we talk to one another. Because the authority is in you, Steve.
That's what makes everything so treasonous.
That woman seeks, she don't have that sort of authority. It's not built.
See, they seek to destroy the authority of the Bahamian male even further in a technological advance when the truth is before us.
But now it seems like he moved now in Parliament.
Caution was thrown to the wind.
Anything about God and this preamble.
Again, the Bahamian Constitution and preamble of it represents caution. It is our supreme law and document. Anything in respect to Article 26, Chapter 3 of our Constitution is already clear. Anything in mention of sex is already clear in Article 15. It is the truth. Article 11 and the provision speaks to what the Governor General duty is as relates to persons coming to our country who obtain citizenship from us and swear and to other countries' philosophies. These people are crying for these things. You see, the people, we stood up against the invasion, and now they came back with the same sex, and they want it retroactive because they have legalized a whole lot of Bahamian that were born here by foreign parents. Okay, many of which and the majority of which is from Hispaniola, and if they can get you to vote on this agenda, you would see a new Bahamas, never ever to rise again the 67, 73, and what it stands for, and silently pre-67, 1965, as relates to the associations and the association of the Southeast at the time the unions were doing between 48 and 73. What came about as a result of the work that were before them. However, the Acklands, Cricket Island and Long Key Association was always the association of the Southeast. This is the truth. Now I want these people to rule. Because the great-grandson of Elijah and the grandson of Willis Miller, the birth, the supernatural birth of the 2nd of June, 1970, there was two. One female from Bimini, one male from Acklands. The year was 1970. My grandfather and her grandfather, 1918 born. This is my ex-wife. It is what it is, just to make the point. My grandfather dates back, his father, 1800s. Like I know the rest. However, we speak about government and associations and how our government came into being as relates to the desires of the people in 1965 leading up to 67 as relates to the association in the Southeast. I have the names of everyone who signed the registers, who were financial in the association. And I only speak about my personal matter because we are in a national security situation. And pride, I now, like the politicians, have thrown caution to the wind. I must throw my personal pride and business to the wind. That the whirlwind will bring it back. And the Bahamian people and their anger, and when we get angry about nonsense, will become the whirlwind one day. Bahamas, they don't want you to know certain things that I can ask them questions to and force them to answer. Now, I have silenced your problem as relates to the invaders and oppressors outside. To checkmate them, I need your help. We must have an investigation into the government and the governance by our sitting and former prime ministers. It has cost me my ex-wife now and my children. It is costing us everything. We must say what it is, and these are our families who are dying on the streets. It is now almost 30,000 households who light is off. Okay? The natural resources and the mass majority of it is being plundered by our very own executives and legislators. Some of them, not all, because we have some strong men and women in there, and we want to say thanks to them.
Government to manage the affairs of state.
Definition of the government.
Controlling, directing, and guiding others. I say, the government failed to manage the affairs of the state and guiding us with what the preamble says on Christian principle. They failed us.
Absolutely
And then I
failed.
look at the word law. It means rules that forbid or require certain conduct or activities established by custom or by official adoption as by a legislature and applying to all members of a community. And so when we look at the rule of law, and it must be based on respect,
Absolute
principle,
Christian principles.
we as the Bahamian people should take the government to court.
Absolutely.
That violates the Constitution.
That violates our
Based on
Constitution.
the preamble of
Based on,
the Constitution.
amen.
What the rules and law should be.
Yes.
And they have the way they should govern us. But now they are being governed, and they are now listening to the UN.
Nonsense.
The Constitution. They throw it away. And they are talking now, trying to tamper
They want to govern
this
their country with our Constitution.
God.
Govern our country.
Yeah.
by as relates to us, by violating our Constitution. Absolute nonsense.
I see a lot of confusion, but yet